everybody, this video is for people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So one, I'm so glad that you found an activity that feels comfortable for you, like rowing. Rowing has some amazing benefits, and it can make you feel a little bit more safe and comfortable for doing some cardio and some exercise activities because one, you're sitting down, two, it's low to the ground, which can be nice, and three, it has multiple points of contact. Your hands are touching the machine, your feet are touching the machine, and your butt's touching the machine. So balance doesn't play too much of a role when it comes to rowing on the rowing machine. It does when you are not on the rowing machine, you're on the water, but it can be a fantastic way to build that confidence, build that strength, and really get some movement going. So I'm glad that you're here, and I hope that this video is helpful. My goal is to kind of give you some tips and things to consider when you're on the rowing machine so that we don't cause anything to happen, and that you're aware of things that you might want to pay attention to. Now, everybody's situation and body is different, so you're probably working with a team of doctors, therapists, PTs, things like that. Please listen to them. They know you better than I know you. I am giving generic advice right now. However, if we do some one-on-ones, I can give you more beneficial advice specifically for you. So please keep that in mind. That is my little disclaimer. Okay, so when it comes to rowing, one exercise I would actually recommend you do, which I'm going to put the link for, is a terminal knee extension. And you just need bands for this, and you can attach it to a door, you can attach it to like a post or something, but it's really good for teaching your knee where a more neutral position is. Now, my body does not go backwards, meaning my joints are not hypermobile, so when I straighten my elbow, I stop at neutral. All of my body is that way. There's even people who do not have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome who have hypermobility. So I'm sorry, you just kind of have to pretend you can picture it when I do it. So what we want to do is get our body into as a neutral a position. And for you, what that's going to look at is actually a little bit more on the conservative side. So instead of our knees getting straight, we're gonna have a little bit of a bend in our knee. Our elbows, instead of going completely straight, we're gonna have a little bend in the elbow. We wanna do as much as we can to prevent you from going backwards. And since ligaments, muscles, tendons, all of those don't quite know what that neutral position is for your body, we want to try and err on the side of let's go where it feels really awkward, I'm not fully straight, so that we avoid going in the opposite direction is our goal. And over time, hopefully that'll become a little bit more natural on the rowing machine, but that's the goal. So I'm gonna jump on the rower and go over some tips. Okay, so I just mentioned how we wanna avoid being in that fully straight position so that we don't end up going kind of backwards, mainly for our elbows and our knees. So I'm gonna start with the elbows. When we're in this position, and I'm sorry, it's 30 degrees outside, but let me try to show you a little bit more of my arms. So when we are in this position and our arms are nice and straight, what I want you to do is when you're at this catch, I want you to have a tiny bit of a bend in your elbows. And I'll show you what that looks like from the front. But when we're here with a slight bend in our elbows, we're gonna keep and maintain that the entire time that our arms are straight. So all the way till we get to the bringing our arms in position. Then our body kind of stops us from doing too much at the shoulders, bringing things too far back. Our body becomes a natural stopping point for other things of our upper body. So the main thing that we want to focus on is our elbows. Then as we go forward, instead of going all the way straight out, just stop where you have that slight bend. Having a really loose grip on the handle will help with that ability to not feel like I need a death grip. When I death grip, even when I'm in this bent position, it straightens my elbows more. So really a nice loose grip will help enforce that, so it's something else to consider. So the next big one that we want to focus on is the knees. Now this is the biggest one that I'd say it needs to be paid attention to because these muscles are big and they're the main muscles we're using during the rowing motion. Our arms are kind of just along for the ride. Our legs are doing a majority of the movement and the strength component. So when I'm in this back position and my knees are straight, and you notice they don't really go backwards, when I'm in this position, I want you to actually, when you get back here to the finish, I recommend stopping with a little bit of a bend in your knee. Then when you go forward, you're gonna come up like normal, and then on the way back, you're gonna stop right about there. Now it's gonna feel weird and awkward. It's gonna feel like, I should be able to just straighten it. But for you, you risk the likelihood of things going further back, putting more pressure onto the knee, which can cause more aggravation at that knee and cause things to not go as well for you and can lead to injury. So I would say when you're here and you're pushing back, I want you to just kind of practice with your hands here. I want you to just do the part where you're pushing with your feet and not moving my arms. I'm not moving my hips, my trunk yet. I'm just moving my legs and getting used to exploding and stopping with a slightly bent knee position. So pretty much as soon as you feel like, hey, I've exerted a majority of the power that I can, that's your stopping point, and then we add in the rest. So you can see, even though I don't go backwards, I can kind of teach my body, I want it to stop there. And you are not the only people that I recommend doing this. People with hamstring, sciatica type stuff, or tight hamstrings, I recommend that they do something similar. So it's not just you, and it is a common and known adjustment that you can make. Maybe not as known unless people are watching my videos, but it is something that I highly recommend to create less aggravation for you at the knee. So those are the main components. Something to consider if you are looking to buy a machine as well is the height of the machine, so you don't have to squat as much to get up and down from it. If you're using a Concept 2, they actually have a version that is up higher. So even though it's further off the ground, it's easier to get in and out of because I only have to go squat to here. And a lot of people who are older prefer that machine, and for you, that machine might be really beneficial. So that's something to consider and you might find helpful. So those are the two main tips that I recommend. I did also write a blog post that has a bunch of research articles and information that I found regarding activities and Ehlers-Danlos and rowing. So please feel free to check that out. The link is below. And let me know if you have any questions, but I hope that this is helpful and gives you kind of the things that you want to pay attention to and something to practice to work on keeping slight elbow bend and keeping a slight knee bend. All right, happy rowing.